This is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A flash flood watch continues until early Monday, but will the weekend be a complete washout? Folks at the Polk Salad Festival in Harlan certainly hope not. That's where we begin our Severe Weather Alert Day coverage with WYMT's Brandon Robinson. Brandon.
Steve, we hope that things are going to stay dry for tonight, tomorrow, for all the festival and outdoor activities that are going on, but we hope they stay dry for the folks who have dealt with heavy bands of rain for the last couple of days. Let's take a look at that flash flood watch you just alluded to, and we're looking at that covering most of the region there, eastern and southern Kentucky. We're going to continue to all the way into early next week, if you can believe that. Aerial flood advisory out for several counties out there. Rockcastle, which got hit hard last night, 4.5 inches of rain in a several-hour span there. I believe it was a 5-hour span. And then for Campbell County and down into East Tennessee there until 7 and 7:30 respectively. Last few hours on the satellite and radar, well, it's been active at times. It was a very soggy start to the day here in Harlan. When we first got here, it was raining pretty good, but now things have backed off a little bit, as you can see on live. Pinpoint Doppler radar, we see some heavier bands of rain down along I-75. They've been riding that corridor basically all afternoon long, and we're seeing some of those start to fire up toward us. Still dry here in Harlan for the moment. Temperatures, well, they're about the upper 60s and the low 70s there. We're going to continue. We're going to see those again feeling more warm because of the dew points. The dew points are really high there. So our headlines, we're looking at a flash flood watch continuing through the weekend. A soggy weekend at times, but again, some of those showers that come through could be heavy, so we're going to watch that. And then there is a break coming up in the 7-day forecast, which I'll have for you here in a few minutes. Steve?
Brandon, thank you very much. Sounds like it's getting loud down at the Polk Salad Festival. Well, the heavy rain last night led to some severe flooding in Rockcastle County. As Brandon was mentioning, that county was under a flood warning for hours. The water levels were so dangerous for drivers, officials had to shut down Main Street. Workers at Dairy Delight spent the day cleaning up after rainwater flooded the food storage area. Luckily, food and materials were up off the ground and away from the water.
I hope it doesn't get that way again, but if it does, there's not really anything you can do. Just have to, that's Mother Nature.
Emergency management crews are assessing the flood damage. They estimate roughly $30,000 worth of repairs are ahead. Well, rain pummeled many areas across Kentucky today and yesterday. Powell County saw swift and fast rising water yesterday as well. Nick Oliver spoke to one couple who had to be rescued before the flooding got out of hand.
The nonstop rain has not been kind to those living in the High Rock Road area of Powell County.
It'd be way up here on me.
During Thursday's rainfall, Josephine Lane says the water came up fast. She says 4 feet overtook her home within 45 minutes, all with her wheelchair-bound husband on the inside. They had no choice but to stay.
I cried and prayed. Me and him both did, because we was all there by ourselves, just me and him.
She says a call to 911 later, a group of firefighters rescued them. They came back later to find this: her garden gone, her green grass now a mud pit, her yard a neighborhood lost and found, and loads of river rock now making her yard their new home. But there was one item that the rain thankfully did not invade.
I'm just so grateful to God that I've got a home.
Right here, I've lost about 6 or 8 feet of property.
Tracy White was not so lucky. The heavy flow of the once small creek claimed a section of her yard, killing her chickens in its path, even damaging the inside of her home.
With the creek being so close to my house, I'm afraid it's going to happen again.
With the rain still in the forecast, these neighbors are not out of the clear yet, but say when this does happen again, they will be ready. In Powell County, Nick Oliver, WYMT Mountain News.
The flooding has also made road and power crews in Powell County busy. Today they were replacing down power lines and removing debris from blocked culverts in an attempt to keep the waterways open in case they see more flooding. Well, you can always track the rain in the forecast on the WYMT weather app. It's available to download in the app and Google Play stores. We now know who police need help finding in a Leslie County shooting case. Richard Dickerson faces first-degree assault, burglary, and wanton endangerment charges. Here he is. Police say Dickerson broke into a home in May and shot a woman at close range with a shotgun. He should be considered dangerous. If you see him, call police. Now to the latest on a breaking story we're following out of Perry County. A little more than a half hour ago, a jury found Harold Hayes guilty of murder. He killed Terry Stidham in August of last year. The shooting happened in the Combs community. WYMT's Macy Marie was in the courtroom when the verdict came down. She joins us now live from outside the Justice Center. Macy?
This trial lasted well into its third day today, just wrapping up not that long ago this afternoon. Like you said, Steve, just about 30 minutes ago, we got that sentencing. Now, even though this trial lasted 3 days, only took the jury about an hour to find Harold Hayes guilty of murdering Stidham. That was back last year. Now, some of the testimony that was heard during the trial this week happened to do with a 911 call that was made just after Terry Stidham was shot, and some other evidence that prosecutors had. They heard from witnesses throughout the week, and then the defense and prosecutors both having witnesses today and making their closing arguments. Now, the defense during their closing argument looked at the jurors and brought up reasonable doubt several times, really stressing that. But that stress of reasonable doubt, well, that did not sway the jury at all. And like I said, not swaying the jury. And when the judge did read that verdict, she asked for no reaction. However, Stidham's loved one sitting on the bench could not help but give off a sigh of relief.
We, the jury, do agree and find the defendant guilty of murder under count 1 of the indictment that is signed by the foreperson.
It was just a little bit more than 30 minutes ago that Hayes received a recommended sentence of 50 years behind bars. Now, that sentencing that the jurors recommended, their deliberation for that taking even less time than their deliberation for finding him guilty of murder. They were only back there for about 30 minutes before they came back and recommended that 50 years. For now, live in Perry County, Macy Marie, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Macy, thank you. A trial date has been set for the former UK student charged in the death of 4-year-old Marco Shimwell. Jacob Pyle is charged with reckless homicide and DUI. Pyle was a freshman at UK when police say he hit Shimwell near Kroger Field last September. The trial is expected to begin April 6th of next year. In Clay County, a man is accused of fighting deputies. Deputies say they were on Crawfish Road when a van almost ran them off the road. They say they found 40-year-old Timothy Smith inside the van, passed out. He appeared highly intoxicated. He refused to get out of the car. When deputies pulled him out, they say he got aggressive and started fighting them. Smith is facing several charges, including DUI and first-degree assault. Weeks after Kentucky's primary election, the results have been certified. The certification was delayed after Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes raised concerns over errors in the voting results. A specially called Board of Elections meeting went through the results before certifying them today. Secretary of State Grimes says the delay was due to a bill passed this year removing her position in the Board of Elections. Senate Majority Floor Leader Damon Thayer, who sponsored the bill, says Grimes needs to stop playing political games. Tomorrow, people in need of health, vision, and dental checkups can make a stop by East Perry Elementary here in Hazard. Today, volunteers started setting up for the Remote Area Medical Clinic, also known as RAM. They plan to serve hundreds of people. You can begin parking at East Perry Elementary at midnight tonight, but you cannot get a ticket until 3 a.m. and doors will officially open at 6. Search and rescue teams in Kentucky train year-round for emergencies, but this time of year is especially critical as there are typically 40 to 50 rescues in the Red River Gorge in the summer. Wolfe County Search and Rescue recently changed to a nonprofit to help get more donations for the crews. Everything they need to find people is relatively expensive, and all the volunteers have other full-time jobs.
I couldn't tell you the number of times I've heard someone say that I can't believe, I ended up on this cliff line or at the bottom of this cliff with a broken femur, or, the list goes on. But, accidents can happen to anyone. And the Red River Gorge is a perfectly safe place as long as you stay within the boundaries.
Tonight at 11, WKYT's Miranda Combs has what you need to know if you plan on taking a hike in the woods this summer.
Saturated ground, heavy rain, and an active flash flood watch. Those are all reasons we've issued our WYMT Severe Weather Alert Day. I'll tell you what we're going to see in the next couple of minutes.
Plus, we'll also have some of the sights and sounds from the Polk Salad Festival today in Harlan.